Hey everybody, this is Linda West with Living Live, and today I have the pleasure to introduce you to Travon Taylor. And today we're going to talk about the Think and Grow Rich book. We're on the Think and Grow Rich tour, which is really awesome. And Travon's going to explain to us the chapter in the book that I have had the most trouble with, and as he mentioned in his talk, that many people have the problem with this one. It's called Sex Transmutation. So Travon, will you share with us, like, first of all, who you are, how you got involved with the Think and Grow Rich tour, what the heck sex transmutation is. And if you guys have any questions while we're talking about this, please drop them in the comments below.
Awesome. Well, my name is Travon Taylor. I'm an international speaker and a best-selling author. So I traveled around. During my travels, I kind of ran into this individual who came up to me and said, "Hey, you need to meet this guy named John Shin." And someone had went to John and said, "Hey, you need to meet this guy named Travon." So it was kind of funny, right? So we were at this event in Los Angeles, and he came and introduced himself to me, and I just saw this guy coming with cameras all around him, and I'm like, wow, who's this guy? He looks a little important, So he introduced himself and told me that he's like, "Have you heard of the book Think and Grow Rich?" And I'm like, of course. I mean, this is the Bible of, personal development. So if you're into personal development, you definitely need to make sure that you read this book, because this is our foundation book, right? For personal development and wealth
I'll just stop
creation.
you just right there. There's also Think and Grow Rich for Women that was written by, Greg Reed and Sharon Lechter. If you're a female having problems, because I had a hard time reading Think and Grow Rich. It was too dense for me. So I read Think and Grow Rich for Women in like 3 days.
Oh, awesome.
So that's, I'm sorry, let's go on.
No, it's great. And so we became very close after that. I mean, I started getting invited to his house and went to his office, and we just got really close. It was just, you just meet those people, you just quickly connect with them. And that's how it was with me and John Shin, and he's also the producer of the movie Think and Grow Rich, The Legacy. And
awesome movie.
Yes. If you get a chance, I'm telling you, look that up. It's amazing. It brings the book Think and Grow Rich to life, especially nowadays when you have a lot of people that don't really read books as often. At least now we can take those principles and still just get it out to people the best way we can, and that's maybe through movies, TV, and things like that, because we love to be in front of the TV, right? So that's a great way to do that. So one day we were sitting up, and he started telling me this his whole plan about this amazing tour that he's going to be doing. And I mean, there's a whole story behind that, and we don't have time to go into it. But he was just telling about how he wanted to, promote his book, obviously the modern day Think and Grow Rich, which is how rich Asians think, and it's so good, so powerful. But he was telling me how he wanted to just take this message out to the world with all of these different speakers and, and thought leaders and just these amazing people, and bring these principles to life and teach them, to each city. So we're looking at 15 cities in 12 different countries in about a year's span. So it was going to be in each country, it was going to be 3 different stops in each country.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
So we're talking about 50 different locations right now. So I was like, wow. So he told me this, and he was like, "You know what? I really want you to be a part of this." And I was just like, I'm in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm all in. And so it was just super exciting. And so how I got involved as far as teaching, this specific principle was, we were at dinner one time, and he just says, Travon, I want to have each one of the speakers teach on one of the principles. And I was like, okay, that's great. He was like, "You know what? I'm going to give you first crack at it. What principle would you like to speak about?" And I was thinking, and he was like, and I was thinking for a couple of minutes. He says, "I have the perfect subject for you, principle." And I was like, "Well, what's that, John?" He says, "Sex transmutation." And I'm like, what? Are you sure? And he was like, "You'd be perfect for it." Sometimes people see things in you before you see and I
came up with a saying, and it's see yourself through the eyes of others.
Yes.
For others see the real you, and that really helped me to grow this last several years.
Absolutely,
so, yes,
100%. So I was like, well, I definitely understand it. I know how it works, because I read the book, and I was like, oh, I get that. And so then at that point, I started studying and really started digging deep into it, because I embraced it, and I was like, this is an amazing deep subject. I mean, and it is I mean, I can talk on it for hours, let alone, 15, 30 minutes or 40 minutes, whatever you get when you speak on stage about it. But I could do a whole seminar about this at this point. It's so amazing. And so what it is, a lot of people don't know what sex transmutation is. It's what it is we all have this energy, this very powerful energy that's inside of us. And a lot of us will call it, just hormones or, it's a drive to want to express. And sometimes the only way we know how to do that is just through the physical act of sex. But there's so many different ways to be able to express that energy. It's actually a very powerful creative energy. And if we learn how to take that energy and redirect it, because energy is always moving, but it cannot be suppressed and it can't be stopped or contained, but it can be redirected. So if we learn how to take that energy, that drive, when we're feeling that feeling of wanting to release, and we take that and we learn how to redirect it in another area, I mean, it actually stimulates like a genii, is what we call. Like, it can actually make you more creative, more a lot more powerful, a lot more wow, you get greater ideas. It's very powerful to be able to take that energy and transmutate it into something more productive.
So what's interesting about that is, this came to mind, is like there's a lot of people that have ADHD or have different things that we labeled. We have labeled that there's like too much energy.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm understanding what you're saying about sex transmutation, which has nothing to do with sex itself, right? It's really the energy, the flow of energy.
The flow of energy.
If we can teach our kids who have what we've labeled as ADHD, they just have an overactive energy. So how can we teach them to repath it, or guess?
Yeah, transmutate it or redirect it.
Redirect it,
right? Redirect that energy. So the first thing I let them know is, when you have someone that has a lot of energy, they just don't know what to do with it. It's just like all over the place.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly. So what I tell them to do is, I would have them sit down. I'm like, okay, hey, so what is it that you really like to do? They say, well, I like to do this. Like, really? Or say, for instance, I like to go, I like to run, or I like to play, ball or catch or something like that. Okay, well, let's play catch. So what you want to do is help them focus it on one specific thing, and one specific thing. So because instead of just bouncing all over the walls or whatever the case is, they need something to focus on. So now you teach them how to focus on something. If they like to, why don't you draw something for me, or why don't you write something? So what they'll do is they'll start focusing that energy on that one thing, which may be drawing, but it has to be something that interests them, something that they love to do, something that would keep them occupied. And so what they would do, you're teaching them now how to start focusing that energy into one specific thing. So now they channeled that bouncing off the walls energy into something specific.
So would you say it might be accurate to say that rather than sex transmutation, it's just energy transmutation?
It is. It is. And the reason why he uses Napoleon Hill talks about sex transmutation, because it is the actual most powerful driver in a man. Now, there are many different other drivers. You have people who are angry, or or disappointment, or you have different emotions, but we have to learn how to transmutate that energy into something more positive. So you can take someone that's very angry, and you can say, okay, well, what makes you angry about that specific thing? I didn't like the way that guy cut me off. All right. So yeah, exactly. Okay, so so what can you do to rechannel that anger and turn it into actually now something positive? What can you do now? Like, okay, that made me so mad, I want to go to the gym and release some of this energy. And a lot of people like to do that. They'll go to the gym, they'll do something else, and they turn it into something positive instead of lashing out at the person who cut them off, or start cussing and because that's just uncontrolled rage and energy. That's what all that is. It's just energy, and it just needs to be redirected in a different area.
That's so awesome. I love that. So I have a couple questions for you. I wrote, when he spoke today, I had a lot of questions that I wrote down. I'm just going to ask you a couple of them, because you were talking about energy and and a high sex drive. You said a high sex drive is a blessing if not abused, right?
Right.
So my question related to this is, what about those people, because like you can tap into that high energy, that high sex drive, and apply that into your business. We're you're talking about entrepreneurship here. So how do you apply that to your business? But then the second question related to that is, what about a person who has a low sex drive? Are they able to then tap into a higher level of energy to transfer into their business?
Okay, yes. So if you do have a high sex drive, and I'm going to address that point first. Having a high sex drive, like I said, it is a blessing. It's something very good because it's a lot of energy. It's basically a call to just want to consistently produce. You know, that's what your body is begging for. That's what the world is begging for. Produce. But the thing is, a lot of people only know one way to how to express that energy. So we want to help, you know, so what they need to do is take that same energy and say, well, let me start focusing on my passion, my purpose, on what I want to do. And all they have to do is take their mind off of that one way of release and start meditating and start thinking about other ways to release it. So same thing with that, we was talking about that kid, right? So now if, say for instance, me, I love speaking. I love to be a I love presenting and things, and it's so amazing to me. So that's my, that's where I have my outlet, that's my outlet. So if I feel like, say, for instance, a high sex drive inside of me or something like that, I'll say, okay, well, let me build a presentation. Or how can I take and make my presentation better or something like that? And I'll start working on what I love to do. And immediately that energy will now transfer over, and it becomes, and you'll write the best, presentations at that point. So whatever your business may be, start focusing on that. How can I make more money? How can I take, my business to another level? When you start going there, if you start thinking about that energy is still there. It doesn't go away. Okay, it's just now transferred. Once you start focusing in on it, that energy's still there. It just transfers, and it makes it that much more powerful. And you're putting all that energy into your business, and that's why it's so good.
I love that.
Now, if you do have, say for instance, a low sex drive, and to be honest with you, I don't believe totally in low sex drives, but there is something that you are passionate about, right? So you may not have necessarily a high sex drive, but there's something that drives you. There's something inside of you that's driving you, and when you start to feel the energy inside you that's going in a specific direction that's not necessarily productive, once again, take that energy. And if you need anger management, if you're always angry, that's nothing more than a call that something needs to be changed, and you are actually the key to that change, because anger is nothing more than a clue to your passion. Listen to what I said. That is so powerful.
Anger is nothing more than a clue to your passion.
To your passion. So
interesting.
How can you change that situation? How can you take that, whatever makes you angry, and how can you serve the world with it? Okay,
awesome.
And look at it from a different perspective. How can I change this situation so it doesn't happen either to myself or someone else I love, or society again? And you just, once again, if you start thinking about the positive on how you can change it, that same anger energy that you cause, like that's this, will now go all into a solution to that problem that you're seeing.
Oh, this is so interesting. So one last question, because you said don't suppress the urge. You need to figure out how to release it in a positive way, which you did address. And then let's talk about like a mentor. And you said a mentor helps you learn how to transfer that energy.
Yes.
So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. So another big thing is in transferring of energy. Sometimes you may feel that you don't know necessarily how to transfer your energy or whatever the case is. So remember when, like I said, the sex transmutation, that energy inside you, the sex energy that's inside of everyone, is a creative energy. It's there for you to create. That means the world is calling for you to bring something into it. Okay, so you need to create something, but you need to get around other creators okay, that has done this before, that knows how to create, because that stimulates your mind. So when you start feeling that urge, or whatever the case is, when you have those urges all the time, and when you're around other creators and other mentors, or people that have been that have been, or they are where you want to be, the more you surround yourself with those people, the more it'll help you learn how to start thinking higher, on a higher level. And so it'll automatically start transferring that energy into better things, because you're around people who are always thinking thinking at a higher level, because you want to be where they are, right? That's why we have mentors.
Well, that's this Think and Grow Rich tour. It's all about that.
It's all about mentors. It's all about getting with like-minded people, not just like-minded, but higher-minded people.
Yeah. Oh my God. I just talked about that the other day, because people talk about, I want to be around like-minded people. But if your level is at a lower level right now, what is your like-minded people? It's the people like you where you are.
Exactly.
Right? So higher-minded people. Awesome.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay.
Exactly.
My battery's going low. Okay. Okay, so the last one you said, make love to your purpose.
Yes.
Yeah, that is so awesome. You want to expound on that a little bit?
Yes, exactly. Okay. So you have, say, you have a lover, right? You have someone that you love, and, you care for this person. And obviously the people that you love, or your spouse, your mate, you make love to them, right? Because you love them. It's an expression. You're expressing yourself, okay, to them. It's the same thing, make a long story short. What's the transmutated version of that? The transmutated version of your lover is your purpose. Right? So what do you give your love to? If I can't give my love to my spouse, my lover, I transmutate that passion, and I give it to my purpose. Same thing as when I was saying, you start thinking about what you want to accomplish, where you want to go. And so when you make love, right? What happens when you make love? Okay, you have a baby, you're producing something, you create something, you bring something into the world. Same thing when you do this when your purpose, right? You take your purpose, you make love to your purpose, you marry that purpose, because when you meet a spouse and you meet someone you want to marry, you say, I want to be with you for the rest of my life, right? It's the same thing with your purpose. I want to be with you for the rest of my life. And so you're going to consistently make love to your purpose, and you're constantly, focusing on your purpose and making it better and giving to the world, it will consistently, once again, it's part of love, right? And love always gives. And so love and that exchange between you and your purpose, when you do that, you create a baby. You have new ideas. You have new ways of expressing, this purpose, and that can reach the world. So whenever you have these urges and these feelings inside of you, that's why I'm saying it's nothing more than the world calling for you to bring and create something. That means you need to make love to your purpose. I call it making love to your purpose, right? Yeah. And then you create new things, and you bring in new babies into the world.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned that. I love that, because so it's a little bit over 4.5 years ago that I left my corporate job, and I told my husband, we need to sell the house. And he was like, we're not going to sell the house. And I said, you don't understand. God told me what I need to do. He's putting me on this path, and I have to do this. No human body can get in the way of my purpose.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what you're talking about, though. Figuring out your purpose. I mean, there's nothing like it. There truly is, because I believe that once you discover your purpose, it is your job and duty to live that purpose on a daily basis.
100%. Right?
And so it's discovering, taking the time out to figure out what your purpose is, and then making love to your purpose on a daily basis, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So Travon, how can people reach you if there's anybody out there who's interested in having a speaker come out and speak to your group, organization, what have you? I mean, Travon is an amazing speaker, and he just spoke for 10 or 15 minutes, and this is what I got from him in that short period of time. So imagine him on your stage for 45 minutes to an hour, being able to speak to your group, your corporation. If you have a large corporation, please reach out to him. So how can they find you?
You can go to TravonTaylor.com. So that's TRAV as in Victor, ON, Taylor, TAYLOR.com, and you can find my information there. You can email me, or I have my phone number there too. You can call me. But I would love to speak on this subject. I mean, I can talk about it all day. I can do a whole seminar.
It's because it's his purpose.
Yes.
So when he gets on the stage, he's making love to his purpose.
That's it.
Awesome, awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. That's
You're so
amazing. I just
welcome.
really appreciate
Oh,
it.
so great. Awesome.
You guys have a great day. This is Linda West with Living Life. I am your global mastermind coach. If you're a female entrepreneur and you're lacking support in your business, please reach out to me and we can help you with that. Thanks and have a great day. Bye-bye now.
Bye.